Yo, what's up, guys? Hope you all doing well. Welcome back to another video. This video is a bit different because we gotta talk, and the reason why I wanted to do this special webinar was because specifically about what happened last week. Hey, what's up, Vivian? Hope you're doing well. And you can see I'm not well where I usually trade. This is not the usual place where I do the live stream, so I'm not planning on opening the charts. We're not doing that. Let me see, and just put down the music. Right, we're not opening the charts. We're just gonna talk about trading psychology. We're gonna talk about risk management, and finally we're gonna talk about managing and dealing with losing streaks, especially with what happened last week. So apparently a lot of traders were going through the same thing. So it was like a phase in the markets whereby we were all having not really a difficult time reading it, rather having a difficult time with the same usual setups, with the same usual things that we do on and on daily. However, it was just not working out. So I just wanted to help you guys, because during that week what I carried on saying was to just calm down, because it's normal. Months or days like this, weeks like this do happen, do come by, do pass by. So just to add on to that, because on the live stream it's mainly we're focusing on trading, so right now we're basically gonna talk, right? So I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. Let me just do that. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys, and let's see, okay. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys so we can all there we go. Alright, so you guys should probably be able to see my screen. Obviously not me, you don't need to see me. Right, so I think you guys can see my screen. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. And by the way, happy holidays, happy Easter to everybody celebrating, including me obviously. Let me know if you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, just type 1 in the chat. Okay, cool. I see you guys can see my screen. That's cool. Well, I can't really see. Oh. Just move this here. I'm gonna just make this small so you guys can see in case I'm pointing at anything. You guys will be able to see that. Let me just make this small. Make it very small. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it as that. Okay, cool. So what I have here is basically the special trading webinar. And before we start though, disclaimer, right, as always, I am not a financial advisor. All information is for educational purposes, and you should do your own research in all of these things. If you do have questions, we are also live on the Discord. You can ask me live on Discord, or you can ask me in the chat. All right, it was a bittersweet week. All right, we're gonna talk about all that, Vivian. We're gonna talk about all that. So, as I said, I broke it down into three. We're gonna talk about psychology, and then we're gonna talk about risk management, and finally we're gonna talk about dealing with losing streaks, which is what a lot of people had last two. Was it not? Okay, not this week. Last week. Okay. Well, all right. We're going straight into psychology because why not, right? On Discord, you guys can also see this. When it comes to psychology, guys, trading psychology in itself is a very, very broad topic that a lot of traders do talk about. A lot of traders on YouTube, a lot of influencers too, do talk about it, but it is not something that is the same for each individual. Rather, I would say it is all different depending on the person, right? And you really, really need to pay attention to your trading psychology, right? You really need to pay attention to when you are trading and when you are in the market, what is happening in your head, what you are anticipating before the trade, after the trade, whilst in the trade. All of that plays a huge part of your trading psychology, right? And there are different ways you can basically prepare yourself in terms of before taking the trade, whilst you're in the trade, and most of this can be done easily and effectively before you enter a trade. Like you can see here, I've got the first way you can prepare yourself, which is right here. You guys can see the first point is preparation before entering a trade, right? And then after that, you need to know what you are thinking whilst you're in the trade. And I spoke about this in one of my previous videos. It's here on the channel on YouTube, where we speak about basically trading psychology, where I just went in depth only about trading psychology. And one of the things I said was you need to prepare yourself before you enter the trade, knowing exactly how much you're going to risk, knowing what you can stomach, what you can handle in a trade. And after that, obviously, your psychology whilst in the trade, avoiding basically the noise, what others are doing, what others are seeing, because you're already in the trade. It's you've analyzed, you're in the market, you basically in the trade, and you obviously need to manage it according to the plan and the statistics that you've had before entering the trade. Your strategy, your confluences, everything that is to do with you winning the trade or you having the edge in the market within the trade, and then knowing exactly where to exit, your exit points, however you trade, however you manage your targets, whether it's a 1-to-1 or 0.5 or 1-to-2, 1-to-3, whatever it is, you need to know this was before even entering the trade. So guys, if you do have questions, you can ask in the chat. I can see the chat, or you can also ask in the Discord. So far, before we obviously carry on, do we have any questions so far? Let's see. Oh, good. Edwin says he's good. Not from you. All right. Okay. Then I'm going to carry on. Okay. I'm going to carry on with the notes. We're going to go to the second point, which is this one, right? Which is developing your confidence, knowing that you're always working in probability and not certainty, right? This is something I would say My mic's not on YouTube. All right. Uh, who else cannot hear me? Uh, oh. Hmm. Can you guys hear me on YouTube? Oh, was it not working this whole time? Hmm. That's weird. Oh. Edwin is tripping. All right. Uh, well, right. We're gonna go to the second point, which is developing your confidence, knowing that you're always working in probability and not certainty. You cannot go in the trade knowing that you're going to win this trade. You cannot go entering a trade expecting it to always be a win. It's probability. You may have your 80% win rate, that's amazing. You may have 70%, 90%, whatever your win rate is, that is amazing. But you don't know when the 20% is going to be playing out. You don't know when the 30% is going to be playing out. When trading or when taking your trades, you have to keep in mind that you can lose. That's why you need, and this is something you need to uh, we need to really emphasize on, is knowing how much you can handle in terms of your risk. When you're risking I don't know how much you risk per trade, but knowing how much you can lose before you enter a trade will help you with your psychology. Okay, and to move on, okay, knowing that the market can and will do anything regardless of what your strategy says, regardless of your confluences, regardless of whatever it is, the market will and can do anything at any time, at any moment, right? You may analyze, you may have your best of the best of the best A plus setup and still lose the trade because the market will do anything. You're trading based off of probability, statistics, not certainty, right? We all wish we had 100% win rate, that we never lose, but unfortunately that's not how it works, and that's just the sad truth. And if you're not able to get past that you're gonna be losing certain trades, not all trades are gonna be winners, then it's not really gonna help you with being a trader, right? So you need to really pay attention with what's going on in your mind before the trade, whilst you're in the trade, knowing your exit point, knowing that the trade might lose, and adjust accordingly, right? Depending on your personality and your character, right? We're gonna move on to the next point, which is gonna be risk management. So any questions on the psychology part before we carry on? Any questions? Actually gonna add. Okay, Edwin says it's good. I think the music is a bit loud. I'm gonna. Anyone else? Good. All right. Just gonna put down the music. Okay. I'm guessing no questions. We're going to risk management. Right. Once you've got your psychology in check, all right, you know what you're doing, you know what's going on in your mind, you know how to adjust, you know what you're feeling, all of that. We go to your risk management, because it's pointless that you know, okay, I'm good up here. But then when it comes to managing the money, you go in and you put 100% risk on your first trade and you win, and then on your next trade, it's all gone. So risk management. Risk management differs from person to person depending on each individual's character and personality. So when it comes to risk management, depending on the person that you are, no one can really tell you, hey, Gideon, you should be risking 5%. Edwin, you should be risking 20%. Vivian, you should be risking 50% per trade. No one can really tell you that, but you yourself know for sure what it is you able to handle per trade, right? Which brings us to basically what I marked up here, right? Let's see, can I just make this small for you guys? Right. So was really looking for a way to explain this to you guys where we'll be able to understand it, but there's no specific way that I can tell you to manage your trade because it's different per individual. But then I could at least categorize it in two two ways, which is conservative and aggressive, right? So you can trade conservatively or aggressively depending on who you are or maybe the type of account you are trading. Because I do know there are people that will be like, nah, this account is, where I'm going to be aggressive, and this one is where I'm going to trade normally and just manage everything correctly and, calmly. And then the other one, blow stuff up for some reason. I don't know why you would want to do that, but there are people that do, right? We're starting right here, okay? Risking only 1% of your account balance and nothing more. This is me right there, right? I would risk 1% of account balance. I don't care whether I don't care whether the setup is the best setup. I don't care whether it's the most A plus setup, but when it comes to me risking, I know that I can handle 1%. So I'm going to risk 1%. This I'm talking about props, okay? I'm talking about prop firms. NF Views says he has a question. I do not see your question. If you can type it again, just type in your question and I'm going to answer you. So this is for prop firms, right? When it comes to a personal account, I can go up to 5%, right? Even 10. But that's not advisable because it depends on your account balance. If you have a small account balance, this is especially for the $100 challenge that I started at the beginning of the year. We're still doing that. That one you have to kind of go more aggressively because it's a small balance that you're starting at, right? But once the balance gets bigger and you have more capital, you wouldn't want to risk all the capital, which brings us down to the 1%, right? What percent risk on profile is actually 10%? Exactly, exactly, or even more depending on your drawdown. Exactly. I think we can speak about that. We got the time. We're here to talk today. You can ask questions, and if views, you can ask questions. I will respond to them. So, in terms of prop firms, especially Max just said something very important is 1% on a prop firm account is actually 10%. I totally agree with you. And in some cases, as you just mentioned, depending on your drawdown, if you have trailing drawdown, uh, I hate that. I wouldn't advise that for everyone because that would be, I don't know why you would want trailing drawdown, right? If you have a prop firm, I want to give an example. Let's just say 10K prop firm. Your 1% is going to be what? Is it 100 or $10? A 10K, it's going to be 100. 100, you only have a, well, they say 10% drawdown, right? Which is gonna be 1,000. The 1,000 is all you're trading with, right? The $1,000, pounds, euros, whatever your platform account is in, that 1,000 is the amount you are trading. So you are not trading with 10K. You are not trading with 20K. You are not trading with 100K or 200K. You are trading with 1,000, right? So you risking 1% of 10,000 is actually you risking 10% of your actual balance that you are trading with, provided that your risk, your drawdown, your losses is static. It is balance based, so it stays at 10%. It doesn't follow you when you gain and stay when you lose, which I find quite weird. But anyways, back to topic. So I would risk 1% on props, which is 10%. Can be what, different for every individual depending on what you can stomach. If you can't handle that, obviously you turn it down a bit. And then when you in drawdown, you reduce your risk to focus on protecting your capital, which is something that's very important. And this may be you cutting your risk down to 0.5% per trade or 0.25% per trade. And this does not mean that you making less. Rather, you should look at it at a perspective where you are actually protecting your money, protecting your capital until the market is favorable again, until the market starts to go in your favor again. Your 70% or your 80% win rate starts to come into play again. That's when you would want to, go back to your normal risk, up it a bit. This is a conservative trader. And then there is the managing your trade by taking partials, moving stops to break even, or reducing risk. Maybe when you're in profit, you move your stop loss to a zone that makes sense, right? You don't just move it anywhere, but to a zone that makes sense where you do not lose as much. If the trade was to reverse and start going wrong, okay, I'm not gonna lose as much because I'm managing my trade properly, right? Uh, let's see. Do you want made? Huh? Th- this guy came on to ask for money. Okay, I'm gonna act like I did not see that. Aggressive. Let's go to the aggressive side. Let's go to the aggressive side. Risking 2% per trade, 20% either prop from accounts, or even more than that, depending also if you're trading personal or not, right? That's new. Yeah, I know, Edwin, but I'm just gonna act like I did not see that, right? But, anyways. Mm. Oh, he's always asking. Oh, wow. We're gonna just ignore. And then when you're in drawdown, this is on the aggressive side. When you're in drawdown, you do not reduce your risk, rather, you keep it going the same. But what I would not advise, I don't care whether you are a conservative trader, I don't care whether you're an aggressive trader, I don't care what trader you are. But when you are losing a trade, one thing that you should not do is up your risk. Don't even think about it. I know it is tempting. I've tried it too. I've done it. It does not end well. It might work once or twice, but when it does not work, you basically finished, right? It's over for you. Your trade, your money, gone, right? So one thing that I would not advise, whether you are a conservative trader, whether you are an aggressive trader, I don't care. Do not up your risk when you're losing. That's the last thing that you want to do. In fact, it shouldn't even be the last thing. It should never even be on your list of things to do when everything is going south, right? Another thing that aggressive traders will tend to do, this is the last point on risk management. You do not manage your trade, rather they just leave it to go for the 1 to 1, the 1 to 2, the 1 to 3, whatsoever it may be. So they just leave it. Basically, it's all or nothing. They let their win rate obviously come to play. And this type of aggressive trader is not one way you basically saying it's a YOLO. I'm not talking about that aggressive trader. I'm talking about one who has back tested what they're doing, has uh put in the time to collect the data to know that yes, my 1 to 2 works, yes, my 1 to 3 works, my 1 to 1, yes, that the strategy that I'm using works, right? That is the aggressive type of trader that I'm talking about in this scenario. I'm not talking about the YOLO trader who don't care. He just puts it and leaves it, goes to do whatever and wish that when I come back, everything's gonna be all right. Unfortunately, it does not work that way, right? And then now we go to the main reason for this webinar, the main reason for this live stream on a day like this, where markets are closed. I think we're not even trading, is dealing with losing streaks, right? Dealing with losing streaks. Let me just help you guys on the YouTube chat. Okay. I don't like what's happening on the chat there. Dealing with losing streaks. This is the main reason why we are here. The main reason for this live stream on a day like this, right? So we're talking about dealing with losing streak. You might have a 70% win rate. So I touched a bit about this just now. You might have a 70% winning rate. You might have an 80% win rate. Heck, I don't care what your win rate is, how high it is. You might have it. No doubt about it. You've done your work. You've put in your hours. But what happens when your 20% is not playing out? When the 30% starts playing out? When the 20% losing streak comes? When the 30%, 25, 15, whatever you want to call it, what do you do then, right? So this brings us to the points that I have. I tried not to make it too long for you guys so that we can have some time to talk even after this. So dealing with losing streaks. Number one, knowing that you were just on the wrong side of probability. I'm not talking about the wrong side of the market. I'm not talking about you reading the market wrong. I'm just talking about you being on the wrong side of probability. You basically being on the other side of your high win rate, your 80-90% win rate. You being on the wrong side does not mean that your strategy is not working. You being on the wrong side does not mean that what you're doing all of a sudden is not working. You being on the wrong side does not mean that you should change your whole strategy because for some reason it doesn't work anymore. That is not the case. It's just that you are on the wrong side of probability. It is just that your 15% is now playing out, which is something we always neglect as traders because we're focusing so much on our win rate that we don't know what to do when the losing rate starts playing out, which is I find that kind of bizarre, right? And it is kind of normal looking at it at a normal person's point of view because we always want to win. But then neglecting the dark side of when we lose and how to manage it and not preparing for it, especially when you do not prepare for it, that's when things go south. Like most people last week, they were crying, they were busy, guys, we're losing so much money. Oh no. And I did look into other streams too, just to know, okay, is it me that I'm doing something wrong maybe, or what? Not mentioning any other streamers' names, but we were not alone. There were some other traders too. Some even just called it early in the week. They were like, nah, this day I've had enough. Some stopped streaming. Some they were like, nah, I'm gonna come back next week. And that is the good trader. You know that, hey, the market is not in my favor right now. Things aren't working out right now. So I'm going to stop and come back the following week where I will get better market conditions because the conditions were just horrible. Facts. Someone else will say, okay, I know that right now at this moment it's not working out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce my risk. Conservative trader, risk management. I'm going to reduce my risk until the market starts going in my favor again. Then I'll up my risk and start trading normal again, which is what I was doing last week when I noticed, hey, we're getting clapped left and right, reduce my risk. And I said it on one of the live streams that when the market starts going in our favor again, that's when you can up your risk again, start risking normally, and everything's gonna be fine. You're gonna get it back. You should not be thinking and willing to risk everything based off of what's happening in 1 week or in 1 day because you got the whole year to trade. You've got your whole career, basically your whole career if you are a full-time trader. It's your whole career. Why are you willing to risk everything based off of what's happening in a day, in a week, when you have the whole of your lifetime in the career to trade? Does it make sense? Because if you're looking at it as a graph, this might just be a pullback for the continuation. And we saw that this week where most of the trades were wins and we managed to recover basically almost, well, I recovered everything that we lost and even made profit. You look at that, and I'm sure even other people that were taking the trades, they've recovered too. So it's just a phase in the market that's currently happening in the moment, but it's not gonna be there forever. It's not gonna stay forever, right? Any questions before I carry on? I think I spoke a lot right there. Any questions? Any questions in the chat? All good. All right. All right. We're gonna carry on to the second point. Staying calm and review each trade, right? One thing that you have to do, this actually is not just about losing streaks, it's just something you should be doing in general as a trader, which is reviewing your trades. Win or loss, review your trades. Keep it in the journal. Win or loss, you have to look at it again to know, see the similarities in your losses, the things that you constantly keep doing, filtering out and taking out what you have to. What traders fail to do is you can see what is making you lose money, but for some reason you still keep on doing the same thing, keeping your bad habits. Habits are hard to let go of, to break, but you have to have that mental focus, that mental strength to break it. So identify what is costing you the money, identify what is making you lose, and take it out. Adjust it, fix it. If you see, okay, this one, there's no way I can fix it, you take it out. If you see, okay, this one, if I just do this, I adjust something small, it will work out, then you do that, but don't do it on your live account. Do it in a demo, back test it, forward tested on a demo. I know it's hard, you're in a demo, man, I'm not making the real money. But it's gonna be worth it because after you get the data, the statistics, then you can implement it on your live account and obviously make them real money. Okay, so compare each of your reviews to your previous winning trades and your losing trades. Do not allow the losses to get to you for temporarily being on the other side of probability, being on that negative side, right? We are at number 3. Predetermining your risk will 100% help you before any trade, right? Before any trade, knowing, hey, this trade I can lose 20 bucks, 100 bucks, 200, 1,000, whatsoever the amount it is. If you're able to handle it, then that will help you with your confidence in the market. We spoke about confidence yesterday with one of the viewers on Discord. I think Edwin was there. Your confidence real or your confidence lies in you knowing how much you're going to lose. Your confidence lies with you knowing that your strategy works. It lies with you knowing that you've put in the hours, and not everyone that comes to tell you what to do to your live stream or in person when you're trading and tells you, no, I see this thing going the opposite direction is right. No, you've done your work, you know what you've put in private, and when it's time to showcases, when it comes and it's time to basically put it at play, you do that properly, and that should be fine, right? Knowing the exact amount you are going to lose and being able to handle it, right? That is your risk management, dealing with losing streaks. So, guys, I see you guys just flipping, pumping the heart. Is there any questions at this moment? Mm-mm. Any questions? Any questions? This doesn't have to do with what we spoke about. It can be any question right now because we are basically at the end already. I've basically given out everything that I had in mind for you guys, especially based off of what was happening last week, because I really, really wanted to touch on that and let you guys know that it's normal, it's okay, it happens. Don't just go all in and go crazy for what's temporarily happening uh at the moment, for the huge time that you have got to trade, the amount of time that you still got to put in the market. All right. I think Edwin. Uh, okay. Just a review. Let's see. Looking at Edwin's comment. Da, 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 da. Mm. Just that review for the trade. If you take the same setup and all, what do you take note of? Usually, if things just keep going south. If things just keep going south, you have to find out what is causing that. Not all your trades are losses, right? I'm sure of that. You have to go back, see your winning trades, right? Let's go back to your winning trades and then see if majority of your trades are losses. Okay, that's fine. But let's go now to your winning trades. What is it that you were doing that obviously caused it to be a winner? Were you taking a good setup? Were you taking good entries? All that come into play, right? And then now you have to find out with your losing trades what it is that might be causing you to lose. You might find that it was the same setup, right? The same entry, but the market conditions were different. And I'm not talking about it in a way that things were just going wrong. No, I'm saying in a sense where in one trade where you won, the conditions were, in a buy example, price was bullish, everything, the momentum was bullish, but in the and the setup was good, right? It was setup number one. Let's just say that. And in the second example, it was a pullback trade, right? So price was going down, and now you're trying to buy it. So it's a pullback trade for then the continuation to the downside later on. So that's what you're trying to catch. And it just so happens to be the same setup A that you took, different outcome based off of what the market conditions. In one scenario, you were in a bullish momentum, bullish structure. In the other scenario, you were taking a pullback trade, but the same setup. So if you see that that's a huge difference, rather it's still the same setup, then you know, okay, when the market is doing this, this setup does not work. But when the market is doing this setup works. So you know now to filter. I think, okay, I need to go deeper into filtering your setups, filtering your zones too. I'm gonna write that down so that I do not forget. We're gonna go deeper into that. So filtering your setups, filtering your zones if you are a demand, a supply and demand trader, support resistance, filtering which demands and supplies that you use is going to help you with that. Mm, I also see. Mm, yes, one thing that I do on my side, which you guys might not always see it on stream, is even when I'm drawing my zones, I pay close attention with regards to what price is actually going to do, because we might be selling off, right? But I can see that this thing is about to really push up. This can be wherever you're looking at it. I don't care how low you're going, but if you can see that structure, right, that there's going to be a push to the upside, even though things are still going down, you can still tell that this pullback is about to happen. This pullback is going to happen, and you can take advantage of that. Like yesterday's London session trade, you guys can just go through the live stream, skip if you want to skip. You'll see the trade. That was a pullback trade, not a continuation trade, right? Knowing that, okay, this pullback trade is going to play out will allow you to take advantage of that. But there are times where it will not play out. That's where you need to look deep in all your trades to know, okay, this works if these conditions are met. This does not work when these conditions are not met. So you see that some pullbacks I take, but some I do not take. So that would be the differences that you need to look at. I don't know if I answered your question, Edwin. Oh, good. All right. Any more questions, guys? I think I'm gonna have a session with the people in the private Discord where we're gonna discuss, and basically we're gonna open the charts and I'm gonna mark it up where we filter your demands, filtering everything, knowing when certain things are happening, this is what you should do. It will be a very long series because it's not something you can, just sort out in one session actually, because it's a lot and you need time to understand that. And I think we can make it happen. We can make it happen. So for those of you that are not on the Discord, you can join the links in the description, I think. Let me just add it in the chat. Right. So the link should be in the chat in there you go. So that's the Discord. And if you want to be part of the private Discord, then you need to either send me a message on Instagram or on the Discord. One of them works. You can either send it in the free Discord, right? General chat, everyone can see it, or you can privately message me, or you can send me a message on Instagram. One of them works. And then I will show you the conditions to enter in the private Discord. Do we have more questions before we call it a session? I will not have any other free sessions like this, so you guys can ask your questions now and just clarify everything right now. Let me see on the Discord if there's any questions. Discord. Okay, no questions on Discord. Right. If this was helpful, guys, for everyone just type 1 in the chat. All right. I mean the number one, not the word one, Edwin. Okay. So guys, this is basically the end of the session. Hopefully I do not need to come back again to tell you guys about managing your risk and staying calm when things are going south. I think you guys should now be able to basically handle losing streaks, and with these bullet points that I've given you guys, it should at least be able to not just help you to handle them losing streaks, but also to get out of it. Because with you staying calm, with you properly reviewing what is happening at the moment, will help you to determine, like, okay, I see what's happening. Should I wait to reduce my risk? When can I put back my risk to a normal level where I can obviously start making money again, making profit again? So this should help you guys. I will put these bullet points in the free Discord, at least, since the YouTube the live stream is free, everything is free. This bullet points will be included on the free Discord. I'm gonna send it now, and you guys can just keep it and review it whenever you guys want to. All right. So that's the end, guys. I'll see you guys on Monday, if it's not a holiday. I think it is, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, I just wanted to give this time to you guys, since we're not trading today, to just have this conversation. And yeah, see you guys on Monday if we're trading, right? Hope you guys have a great weekend. Happy holidays, happy Easter to everybody. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday. I'm out.